I talk a lot about pretty abstract, philosophical sounding stuff in my videos: psychological, emotional, spiritual, higher consciousness, self actualization, etc. And I don't really want my viewers to miss out on the practical aspects of their life, because there's no bypassing your practical everyday life with some kind of, spiritual idea or even spiritual direct realization. You need to actually have a lot of this more practical stuff functioning well in order to really reach these higher levels of consciousness and properly integrate them. So certain structures and habits really need to be in your life, and you have to remove other ones, or else you're simply going to just get stuck somewhere along the way. You're not going to reach those higher potentials that naturally exist for you, because somewhere along the way you're just you're making a mistake somewhere. You're just not really able to move past something. There's some kind of block. So by this title, Build Your System for Success, I don't mean just making money, although that is a part of it. It's also just ensuring your relationship needs are met, ensuring that your overall needs are being met, and the ways in which you're getting them met actually function well with you. So it's success relative to a lot of different areas of life, also in relation to you, making sure that these fit well into your life. And of course, everyone's going to have pretty individualistic needs, and there's also some general patterns within human needs like food, shelter, connection, all this kind of stuff. So your individual specific needs, I obviously can't really get into them here because this is a YouTube video. So I'm going to just be going over a lot of general human needs and ensuring that you kind of know a bit on how to actually get them met in a way that actually just solves your problems, in a way that solves your relationship problems, in ways that start to solve some of your career problems, in ways that solve some of your well-being problems, some of your emotional problems. Essentially, certain habits have to be put into your life so that you can kind of stand upon those structures, and those structures also kind of foster your development as a human being. So in this video, I'm only really going to be focusing on highly practical things, practical solutions only, no real abstract theory whatsoever, really. I don't want to do that in this video. I do it in a lot of my other videos. We're taking a very just practical viewpoint of your life and just really trying to ensure that a lot of these like habits and stuff, a lot of these abstract sounding things I even talked about in my video, like you need certain patterns in your life so you can even get to that point of really realizing them and having them be who you authentically are, having them just be natural in your life. And without those patterns, you can't get there. It's just not going to happen. There's just certain ways that humans develop, and without them, it's just impossible to really get to those higher levels. You're just going to kind of get stuck at certain places, but I'll leave that alone for now. We'll just get right into this video. So I talk a lot about meditation. Right? And meditation is basically the best thing you can do for actually really beginning to raise your consciousness, raise your psychological development. And I'm going to be going through a lot of topics in this video, right? But a lot of people watching my videos don't even have a daily meditation practice set up. I would probably assume most of you don't. So make sure that you just buy a meditation cushion, buy a nice little carpet or something for you to sit on. Set up a little area in your room, a nice little environment for you to just practice it in. Buy a timer for you to just practice, for you to time your meditations, essentially. You're building the infrastructure for your success, for your ability to just do the habit so that it helps you. Right? Keep in mind, just practical solutions here so that you can have these patterns that are really needed for your own well-being in all your areas of your life. So there's no way around this. You got to just sit down and do the practice and connect to your emotions and really just be aware of yourself. Learn to start witnessing yourself rather than just reacting to what's going on inside of you and having those patterns just kind of play themselves out, right? Talked about this a lot in my previous videos. Moving on, reading and daily learning. You need to have a good information diet. So a lot of people, their information diet just simply isn't good. They're watching a lot of TV, they're scrolling on their phones. Their information diet doesn't really consist of high quality information. This is quite literally the case for most people on the planet. Right? I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I'm stating a fact. Most people, their information diet just simply is not healthy. So you don't want to fall into that trap, I assume. Really, you got to read books. There's a certain level of depth that you can really only get from books. You're not going to get them from a YouTube video. You're not going to get them from basically anything other than sitting down with something like a book and then just reading it and returning to it over and over and over again. Again, you need that depth of understanding. You need to look for depth. If you're not proactively building that in your life, it's not going to happen. So you need to fill up your mind with the information it needs to be healthy and function properly and cut out unhealthy information. So a lot of people are kind of scrolling on their social media, all this stuff, distractions, and you're kind of just filling up your mind with junk slowly, right? And you have to, in your own life, organize your life in a way so that you aren't stuck in these traps. I'm going to be talking about phone addictions and stuff like that later on in the video. But essentially, you need to just become more conscious of the kind of information that's actually like finding its way into your mind and intentionally structure your life in a way so that high quality information enters your mind. What does that really mean? I have a free book list, totally free. For those of you who've never read a lot of books, right, you want to find some good information, get my free book list, link is in the description. Buy some of those books. Drop like $20 on books. Some books you can even get for like $3, $4, $5 on thrift books, used bookstores, stuff like that, stuff online. You can find stuff on Amazon. A book will probably be anywhere between like 10 to $20 on Amazon. Spend your money on the book, get it shipped to you, rip it out of the package, sit in an undistracted room, and just read the book. Write down some notes, write down some core things you learn from the books. Take notes as you just read the book. But you need to install this practical habit so that you can just have the actual depth that you need. Your mind needs information so that it can kind of map out reality and navigate it well. And when your map of reality, your thoughts of reality, your just internal system, conceptual system of reality, when it's not very good and when there's a lot of holes in it, you can't navigate it very well. When you have a map that's full of holes, I mean, what good is that map? You need something that's going to help you to just navigate life in a way that helps you to get your needs met and then move beyond just survival needs. So you do this really by just reading a lot, daily learning. And there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into my own personal development in these videos. Like, I'm not some guy who just got up here and just started like saying stuff to a camera. There was many, many years of daily meditation retreats, reading literally hundreds of books. There was a lot of work I had to do prior to this point so that the stuff that I actually, coach people on in my one-to-one, the stuff I actually put out is stuff that isn't just garbage, essentially. It's like actually helps people to get to the root of their problems. So again, this video, I'm focusing really on just practical solutions only. And I want you to contemplate and just notice this kind of stuff in your life, if you have these kinds of things set up in your life or not. Right? I'm really trying to just keep it very simple here. No abstraction, nothing. You need some of this stuff in order to just be well. Moving on is stretch your body so it's flexible and doesn't break down. Do you stretch your body? Right? Does it feel flexible? Google some stretches. Like, actually just go on Google. Just type in like stretches for my arms, my back. Get some kind of back roller, yoga practices for, I don't know, whatever. Stuff for your legs, right? Your whole body. Essentially just learn some stretches and just start doing them. Because what is your body going to look like in 40 years if you just never stretched it ever, right? It's just going to start to break down. You need this to actually be well. You need your body to be well so that your mind can be well, so that you can even just focus properly, so that you can be clear, so that you can have a solid intuition as well, right? You got to take care of some of these more basic things so that these higher order things, right, they have a foundation to stand upon. Because without that initial foundation, there's nothing for the stuff to stand upon, right? And if the foundation is kind of like half-assed, then like you're going to have these half-baked realizations, right? There's not going to be a deep integration or a deep understanding of them. It's just, you're not going to have that. Next is cleaning up your actual diet and the foods you're eating. Just cutting out junk food. Just noticing that there's foods that you eat that habitually make you feel drained, exhausted, tired, numb, dull. Just write them down, like identify all of them, and just start cutting them out. Stop purchasing them, right? I know there's a lot of people who struggle with all these problems, and a lot of these problems go far deeper than I'm actually mentioning in this video. But again, I'm really just trying to focus on purely practical things in this video. I'm not going into depth on like how do I do X, Y, and Z for my specific needs. Again, I'm really just trying to focus on pure practicality in this video, ensuring that you are aware of some of these patterns and some of these things to look at so that you can implement this stuff into your life, so you're not kind of just like stuck in certain loops, and these loops are just preventing your ability to actually evolve and grow, to really raise your consciousness. Next is just getting off your screens, right? Your phone is an extremely disassociating and distracting thing. A lot of people argue that they use their phone for education, right? There's a lot of good education on the internet, right? I'd recommend utilizing it. But really, you can't be on your phone for multiple hours every single day, on screens for multiple hours every single day. It's actually just not good for your psyche. Right? It's just straight up a very disassociating, disconnecting thing. You don't want to be staring at this stuff every single day for many hours. Right? It's just simply it's not healthy. Right? People work in office jobs. I understand. The thing is, though, is that it really depends. How deep do you really want to go with this work, and how much do you actually really care about it? Right? I understand that right now I'm talking to a general audience with all sorts of different needs, circumstances, etc. But the fact is that these screens are highly unhealthy for us. And if you're in some kind of environment where you're stuck looking at screens for 8 hours a day, it's really up to you to determine, is this actually serving my well-being? Is this worth it? It's up to you, your values, your life. I'm just really trying to make you aware that these screens are not good for you. Staring at them, being addicted to them, always having them in your pocket, these are like cheap escapes from reality. Often we're using them to just disassociate and escape. Right? If you're addicted to your phone, turn it off. Put it in a drawer, put it in a different room. If you use it as an alarm in the morning, right, and then you find yourself scrolling on it right when you get out of bed, not even when you get out of bed, when you're in your bed and you're just kind of scrolling on it, right? Instead of keeping that in place, right, you, like I say in the title, you need to build your system for success. Physically remove it from your room, put it in a different room, charge it somewhere else, buy an alarm clock. Right? Again, it's purely practical stuff in this video. You want to make sure that all of this kind of junk isn't always getting your attention. You're not always interacting with this stuff. Instead, the things that you're interacting with are actually healthy things that give you energy in your life and help you to be well and succeed. Building your system for success. You can't really build your system for success if you're always addicted to your phone first thing in the morning, right? Physically take it out of your environment, charge it somewhere else, buy an alarm clock, right? What kind of system do you need to succeed in this area? Get to work on actually building it, right? Again, very practical. Next is social skills. Go out and talk to people if you're lacking social skills. A lot of people like very deeply lack social skills nowadays. Again, partially because phones and technology. Also, we're never really taught in school. We're just simply never taught, like, how does an intimate relationship work? What are the needs of the other person? Right? What are some of the general needs of men or women, etc.? We're just not taught how this stuff actually works. So then we have a lot of people with low skill in this area of life. Again, I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. It's really just an observation. So if you want to have a lot of skills in your intimate relationships, for example, read some books on relationships and dating, and then go do it. Totally practical, right? I have a free book list, right? I mentioned that. You just study the work of David Data. Read a couple of his books, and while you're reading the books, go out and talk to people. Test the ideas that you find in the books, and that's it. Like, practice it intentionally. Take all this stuff, put it into your life. This is how the change is actually going to happen, right? When it comes to your relationships, you need a good model in your mind of how relationships work. Masculine energy, feminine energy, the psychology of it, attachment systems, right? Depends how deep you really want to go with it. I'm a guy who likes a lot of depth. So I go deep as hell, right? Depends how deep you want to go with it. But if you want to have some decent enough results, you need a good idea in your mind of how this stuff works and how to navigate it, right? Plus some support around this stuff so you can like get your needs met and like kind of just practice it, right? So just reading the books, right? That's just learning the ideas that you need to navigate it well so that you're not making a lot of errors, right? You're just learning from the mistakes of other people, essentially. It's going to save you a lot of unnecessary suffering, a lot of wasted time, a lot of mistakes. And then you're just applying those ideas that you learn, right? You're taking the ideas and you're just applying them to your actual life. So just installing this habit. If you're a very young guy, a lot of young guys struggle with talking to girls. Read The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. Read The Masculine in Relationship. Read Models by Mark Manson, right? Just study the work of David Deida and then really practice it. Go out there and just approach and just talk to people. Learn to get comfortable just talking to people and just expressing yourself openly. I'm getting killed by some mosquitoes right now. So build your system for success. Right? It's relatively simple. If your life system is inefficient and you're not getting your needs met, something's got to change. And some of this stuff, right, I just want to keep it very practical. I don't want to keep it abstract in this video because some of this stuff, right, people just need to recognize that you have to spend time intentionally organizing your life and figuring out a way for it to just function well. And without that, you're going to fall into a lot of traps, like just waking up and checking your phone for an hour straight, and then you kind of feel foggy, and eating a very non-nutritious breakfast that doesn't really, serve your mental clarity, skipping your meditation practice, not really taking care of your body, going to work, you feel kind of stressed, you feel tense, right? I have a lot of empathy for the struggles of people. Again, keep in mind that this video, I'm really only just I'm maximizing practicality because all the emotional stuff I do in a lot of other videos, and this is kind of the blind spot of a lot of my work, really. It's just that practical solutions are things that when you're focused on a very emotional perspective, you can completely miss out on them. And as I'm talking to people about the emotional, psychological stuff and a lot of this abstract stuff, I do want to feed you guys just practical stuff as well so that you understand that there's an actual development that occurs to get to that point. And without a lot of this practical stuff, you can't develop to that point. It's simply just not really going to happen. So building your system for success, right? This means that if you need a new laptop, if you're a writer, if you have to work on your laptop and your laptop is slow, it's crashing, buy a new laptop. This means that if you're a painter and you need some new paint brushes because your current brushes aren't very good, buy new brushes. It means that if your internet's too slow, you can't get your work done, have some good internet. It means that if you're always being distracted by things in the environment, go into a room, remove all the distractions, no phone, no nothing, just the thing that you got to be working with. That's it, right? What can I physically do to make this stuff work, right? And then kind of just doing it. Essentially, you want to make sure that your system runs efficiently, right? That's like the core of this. You want your system to just work well, because if it doesn't work well, you're going to be burning a lot of unnecessary energy that can go into maintaining your relationship or maintaining your personal well-being or your consciousness, right? If you have sort of more like these system level errors of your life, right? It's like, and you kind of are stuck in loops, right? Of just wasting your energy, right? This is very valuable energy that can be redirected just by fixing the system and then having that energy freed up to focus on something else. So spend time intentionally organizing your life and learning how to organize your life. That is my final point, right? I can't go into every single person's individual needs and circumstances. I want you to spend time just simply organizing your life and learning how to organize your life. Notice the dysfunctions and just question, how can I structure this in a better way so that it serves my own well-being, so I'm not burning energy unnecessarily, so that this system can simply work very well. That's it for this video. If you're interested in working with me one-to-one, you can apply to do so. I do one-to-one coaching. My group coaching is going to be coming relatively soon, maybe sometime in the next few weeks. I'm just ironing out some of the details, and I got some other stuff in my life I got to finish first before I really go in on that. Other than that, take it easy.